Assalamualaikum and hello, my name is HAZMI bin HASDI and I am the leader of my group. In this video, our group will do a presentation for our final year project which is Radon and Building. Our project is supervised by Dr. Ahmad Nazir. These are the outline of our presentation.
Assalamualaikum and greetings to everyone. My name is Siti ZAHARIAH binti ALIAS, student ID 2019222344. We'll start this presentation with the abstract of the research. Today's society is less aware of radiation exposure, especially radioactive radiation. The majority of cancer patients were proven to have been exposed to radioactivity in the environment. Radon 222 is the second largest cause of lung cancer. The goal of this research is to find out how radon 222 in the building affect people near UiTM Tapah. In addition, the rate of ionization of radon 222 is also measured. Our research is also to see if the hypothesis that all the buildings have a higher rate of radon 222 ionization is true. Furthermore, to see if the rate of ionization is higher when close to the ground. A survey meter was used to calculate the rate of ionization of radon 222 using the unit count per minute (CPM) to test the hypothesis. The results support the concept that radon level rise in building and fall when they are above ground level. The result of this experiment show that our hypothesis is accepted. On the basis, it can prove the importance of public awareness towards the radon exposure. Next, I will pass this presentation to NATRAH. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum. My name is NATRAH binti Muhammad JEPRI and my student ID is 2019409528. I will continue this presentation for introduction part. Radon is a radioactive gas that is invisible, odorless and tasteless. The breakdown of radium, a decay product of uranium, produces it. Radon emits alpha particle and create radon daughter or progeny, which are solid radioactive compound. Based on the research from Squela Radon 2005, Radon 222 has a short life of 3.8 days and decay into a sequence of solid particulate product known as radon progeny or radon daughter, each with a half-life of 30 minutes or less. Other isotopes of radon exist naturally, but their health effects are minor compared to radon 222 exposure owing the variation in half-life and dose symmetry. Radon gas and radon progeny are found in trace concentration in the soil, water and air. Radon levels are very high in areas where the soil or rock contain a lot of uranium. Radon in the ground, groundwater and building materials emits radon. The soil and rock beneath a building are the main source of indoor air radon, which enter the building through crack or opening in the foundation or basement, including drain and utilized access area. Indoor radon levels are often highest in the lowest level of structure, from which the gas may pervade the whole structure. The following figure illustrates the radioactive decay chain that produce radon and radon progeny: uranium, thorium, radium, radon, and lastly radon daughter. Not only that, the information from Radon in Building 2019 are also state that the half-life of radon is 3.8 days. In the absence of its parent radium, the strength of alpha particle from a particular sample of radon will decrease by half in 3.8 days to the half remainder in 3.8 days. The main source of indoor radon is usually radium in the soil directly underneath a building. Groundwater and construction materials are fewer major sources of radium. The presence of uranium in soil and rock is a reliable indication of the presence of radium and radon. Because radon is a gas, a small amount of radon created in the soil can enter the structure. The rest is buried beneath the ground. Radon decay in the air to solid radon progeny, which are present in the building air as fine particle. Because radon is a gas, change in atmosphere pressure have an impact on its emission from the ground and accumulation in the building air. The basement concrete floor and walls limit the flow of radon from the soil in the building. However, radon may enter a structure through crack in the floor, wall slab joint, and the drain system. The hypothesis for this experiment is the higher the level, the lower the amount of the radon in the building. The objective also for this experiment have two, which is to study the effect of radon 222 in building to measure the rate of ionization of radon 222. I will pass the presentation to Siti ZAHARIAH binti ALIAS. That's all from me. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum. Again, I am Siti ZAHARIAH binti ALIAS. We'll continue this presentation with literature review. There are three main points on this part, which is the first one is the origin of radon, the second one is the effect of radon, and the last one is how does the radon 222 move. For the first point, which is the origin of radon, the origin of radon 222 comes from the element radium, which is the decay product of uranium. Both radium and uranium are found in soils and rock as naturally occurring elements. Radon gas is a radioactive gas that has no smell, color or taste, which has a half-life of 3.8 days, is entitled by rocks and soil, and prone to concentrate in enclosed areas such as mine and home. It contributes significantly to the ionizing and radiation dosage received by the general public. The next point is the effect of radon. Radon 222 does not have much of a bad effect on human. One of the main effects of radon on human is the lung cancer. Radon is believed to cause between 3% to 14% of all lung cancer in a country, depending on the national average radon level and smoking prevalence. For smokers, radon is considerably more likely to cause lung cancer. In fact, smokers are thought to be 25 times more vulnerable to radon than non-smokers. So far, no other cancer concerns or health impact have been documented. And the last point for this part is how does radon 222 move? Radon penetrates building through fractures in the floor or at floor wall junction, gaps around pipes or cables, small pore in hollow block walls, cavity wall or sump or drain, among other places. In basement, cellars, and living spaces that are in direct touch with the ground, radon levels are unfortunately greater. However, there is a significant radon concentration above the ground floor. This makes it concerning for people who live in the building without realizing the presence and concentration of radon that have occupied in the area. That is all from me. I will pass this presentation to HAFIZ. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum and hi, my name is Muhammad Hafiz bin Muhammad PINI and student ID 2019247346. Today I will continue the presentation with methodology part. For the apparatus, we use survey meter, stopwatch and ruler. There are two parts for this experiment. Firstly, count per minute CPM option on the survey meter has been selected. Next, the survey meter is opened and calibrated until it sounds beep. Then, the distance was measured 5 cm from the floor and the survey meter was placed close to the wall. 3-minute timer has been set. The value for the survey meter was recorded after 3 minutes. The experiment was repeated 3 times in the same location to get the average. Repeat step 1 to 5 in each location: Pita, Islamic Center, Gamma College, Alpha College and Zeta buildings. For part 2, the experiment was repeated for step 1 to 5 at each different 3 level at Alpha College and Gamma College. Assalamualaikum and hi, my name is Muhammad Hafiz bin Muhammad PINI and student ID 2019247346. Today I will continue the presentation with
result part.
Next, for the result and analysis for part 1, as you can see, we take 3 trials for each building. The average rate of ionization for College Alpha is 2.99, For college gamma is 3.77, for Zeta building is 3.77, for Islamic Center 3.66, and for Pita 3.66. Then, for part 2, the average at the ground floor college alpha is 2.88, at level 1 is 2.40, and at level 2 is 2.17. For college gamma, at the ground floor is 3.66, then for level 1 is 3.22, and at level 2 is 2.25. That's all for me. I will pass to Arif to continue the presentation. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum and hi, my name is Wan Muhammad Al-Hafiz bin ARIFIN, student ID 2019448042, and I'm going to present about discussion and conclusion. From the project, it is known that all the 5 buildings, Pita, Islamic Center, Gamma College, Alpha College and Zeta building have the phases of radon. By referring to table 1, for the result section, the average rate of ionization of Alpha College is 2.99 CPM, which is shown to be the lowest among the 5 places, while in Gamma College and Zeta, the average rate of ionization is the highest, with a value of 3.77 CPM. This is due to several factors and the source of the radon emission. Radon enters the building through advection and diffusion from the subsurface soil, which is the source of radon. It diffuses through the soil due to the difference in radon concentrations in the environment and within the soil. The Gamma College and Zeta building are older than the other buildings, where the building have many cracks that allow radon to diffuse into the building. The radon concentration in the building will increase due to accumulation of the radon in it, causing the rate of ionization to increase, shown by the results. Some buildings tend to keep their windows and doors closed for extended periods of time, resulting in the radon accumulating inside the buildings due to less ventilation. The measurement of the radon in the Gamma College was done inside the utility room, where all the windows and doors are always closed, making the ventilation rate become lower, as well as in the Zeta building. For the Islamic Center and Pita, the rate of ionization is also high because human activities occur in the buildings, where traces of soil may be left on the floor from their shoes and clothes. Table 2 shows the result of the radon test at 3 different heights at Alpha College and Gamma College. The result of the rate of ionization of each level has been taken 3 times to get an average. Each level gets different results for each of the college. There are some factors that influence the result obtained. Ground floor for both colleges have the highest reading than level 1 and 2, which are 2.88 CPM and 3.66 CPM respectively. This happens because the higher the height, the less the phases of radon, as the radon is a radioactive gas that is produced naturally when radioactive metals such as uranium and radium break down in rocks, soil and groundwater. Because it emerges from the soil through the ground floor, its concentration is usually highest on the ground floor. For example, the ground floor of the building has the highest value for brick houses. This is not surprising as the location is on the ground floor and radon emanates from the earth crust. However, because active ventilation draws air out of the living space, that air must be replaced, and ground floor's air is drawn into other living spaces, potentially contaminating the entire building. Now, I will pass to HAZMI, and he will continue the presentation. Thank you.
Based on the result, it is shown that the average of the CPM of Gamma College is higher than the Alpha College. How long it was built is another factor of the presence of radon in certain areas. A building that has been built for a long time has more potential to gain radon in that circumstance. But in another case, there are cases that new buildings have higher radon. If a house air pressure is lower than the surrounding soil, the house will function as a vacuum, pulling radon gas inside. Gamma College has higher concentration of radon than the Alpha College because Gamma College is near the mining area. The mining area has many radon exposures since the radon comes from the soil and underground. Some problems that we found when handling the research are during part 2 of the procedure. Both of the survey meters are not well calibrated, causing the values to differ. Another problem is we cannot detect the specific radiative particle. We cannot identify either radioactive particle or alpha particle or other particles such as beta particle and gamma ray are also being detected. The limitation of our research is the instrument used in measuring the rate of ionization of the radon, which is the survey meter. The survey meter is not really a suitable instrument in studying radioactive exposure of the radon. The most suitable instrument is alpha threat detector and activated charcoal absorption. In conclusion, the presence of radon can be found in almost any building that is built on the ground, especially buildings with lack of air circulation. The major factors that contribute to the concentration as well as the rate of ionization of radon in the building is the ventilation effect, the age of the building, the design of the building, and the place the building was built. Thus, we have to be aware of radiation exposure from radon in our building because according to recent epidemiological findings, indoor radon exposure can cause lung cancer if inhaled a certain concentration. To prevent this, some measures can be done to reduce the radon exposure, such as keeping windows and doors open to increase air exchange between the indoor and outside environment, and by sealing method, which is to block radon entry point by using impermeable filler and sealants.